Hello everybody. Today I'm working on the no wire fusion birch projects. As you can see, I have 3 in progress. An inadvertent part of the experiment, I guess, is the difference in the vigor of these trees. All these trees came from the same batch of seedlings, presumably from the same, roughly the same parent plants, and one went into a bonsai pot straight away, one group I should say, and the other 2 went into 2 different sized plant pots, and the vigor, depending on the size of pot, is actually quite noticeable. So people often say putting the tree in the pot can't be all there is to bonsai, and no, that isn't all there is to bonsai, but it is obvious that the plants have responded to the extra root room significantly in these larger pots, more so in the largest of the 2. They were all situated in roughly the same place on the bench, so got roughly the same amount of air and light. So yeah, so what am I going to do with them today? I want to cut them back. I want to keep the trees a bit more compact. They're all getting a bit leggy. I want to encourage more back budding at the base of each tree, to encourage the bases to fatten up and really get those trunks fused together, and hopefully achieve a bit of taper in the doing so. And just get them back a stage to pull everything back in closer, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's get the camera on the stand and move in a bit closer so we can see the progress made so far. Okay, so starting with the one in the bonsai pot. As you can see, with the drinks can for scale, not a terribly big bonsai pot, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little birch trees in here. They've done quite well. They've put on quite a bit of growth, and they are actually sitting down onto the rock quite nicely now. Still got a long way to go before they entirely fuse and fully grip that rock, but they've actually done better than I expected. This piece is a kind of sacrifice branch, and it's actually these two roots here that will hopefully, as they fill in, will give a bit of taper at the base of the trunk here, which otherwise it's sadly lacking. Let me just remove this branch that I don't need, that leaf, and then you can see a bit better what I mean. Some of these leaves have been shaded out at the bottom, have gone a bit yellow. So all I intend to do is just pull back the growth on this tree. I'm hoping on a tree maybe this tall, maybe double the height it is at the moment. Obviously this one produce hopefully a nice thick trunk, a gnarly trunk, once it's all fused together. It may take 5 years, but I'm hoping it will lose that braided appearance that you get when you see, you often see fig trees braided into a half standard or a standard. But I'm hoping, because they start much thicker, they tend to keep that braided appearance much longer. I'm hoping, because I'm starting with some fairly thin trees, by the time these really fuse together and begin to get old, it'll lose a lot of that appearance, or I'll be able to disguise it in some way. But as I say, that we could be looking 5 to 10 years. I'm going to lose this branch and then I'm going to shorten most of these back quite significantly without, and that's the plan, without letting them unwrap from one another, if that's the word I'm looking for. At the moment, with a lot of this top growth, that's going to encourage the trees to fatten further up, and I want them to fatten at this point. And then the question is, which one of these do I want to be the leader? Well, not this one that's going to the back. Let's shorten that off to there. I think I'm going to keep this as a leader and shorten this one back further. So I'm just going to shorten it back to a leaf there, and I'm going to leave this one slightly taller. There's another branch in the back here that I can lose, in fact a couple. I'm going to keep that one as a kind of sacrifice branch and lose the other one. And then these I'm just going to shorten back by half, just to give me a bit more room on the bench. They're encroaching on some of the other trees. I think I will eventually lose this whole piece once it's fused together fully at the base here, but we will see. I definitely won't want to keep all of it. These pieces haven't sat well together and are proving to be a bit more difficult, so they will probably, they will probably all go. But keep watching, and as time goes by, we'll see where we go with this. This is all seat of the pants stuff, really. Don't know of anyone else that's tried this, and it's just a whim, just a thing I wanted to try. Someone did comment on one of my other videos that they're not proper root over rock, they're trunk over rock, or some such. And yeah, that's true to an extent, but in bonsai things are all illusion, and the whole point is making a young tree look old, and a small tree look massive. So I don't think there's any harm in trying to make a trunk look like a root, or a root look like a trunk for that matter. So beauty being in the eye of the beholder and all. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, which is in this flower pot, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 13 trees in this pot. All sat on this little rock. Again, it is beginning to grip the rock in places, so I'm quite pleased with that. We've got some long, strong growths that I'm going to lose from down here. I don't want them all, so I'm going to lose some of those. They've done well fueling the roots and helping the trees to grow, but now I want to just lose them in their entirety. I haven't decided on a front. I think it's this, with the tree leaning towards the viewer rather than to the rear. That would make the most sense. I could wire it, but then I don't want to use wire on these trees, so or at least not at this stage. And I don't think I'm going to keep it as a twin trunk either. Again, I think I might lose this secondary trunk once the thing has fused at the base here. Again, I might not. What I am going to do is shorten this quite considerably by taking out some of these taller upper shoots back to a leaf bud, Yeah. And it's going to be on a piece by piece basis, but generally it's just going to be shortening back, not looking for shape or taper. Well, I am looking for a bit for taper, which is why some of these branches are not sort of plaited. Yeah, plaited, that would be the word I'm looking for. Plaited into the main. As I go further up the tree, there are less of them plaited in. I'm thinking this would be my most apt leader, so I'm going to cut it back to this bud here, and then these others I'm going to shorten. Yeah, these are quite rough chops, as you can see, and they are exactly what you would call leaving sacrifice branches, and I'm hoping obviously that the tree will back bud all over, and I can get lots of shoots down low which can grow next year and help to fatten up and bulken up this trunk. I don't mind if it has lots of little scars. I'm not looking for lots of major scars, but by keeping the trees cut back now, I'm hoping I'll get lots of small growths, giving me the same effect as a couple of large growths. I'm gonna shorten this back to there. Okay, so and that piece probably is too weedy, so I'm just going to cut that back to there. Again, we've got the pieces here gradually becoming less entwined, therefore that'll give us a little bit of taper. Okay, that might seem quite harsh, but I think the tree will recover from that quite happily. It'll assume it's been grazed or something, and hopefully we'll throw out a new set of shoots. There's enough time for it to do that. Keep it well watered, it's a bit dry at the moment, and fed with some probably a tomato feed from this time of year onwards, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is the last of the three, and as such it's in the biggest pot and has grown more vigorously. It's not a perfect scientific experiment, because this tree has only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trunks, as opposed to the 13 the last tree had, and it's in a larger pot. But it has grown significantly, and again I'm going to cut it back. This piece hasn't fused with the main trunk yet, so I'm going to cut that one back to here. This piece I'm going to cut out entirely, and then just shorten this piece. Once I have this piece fused together, and fully gripping onto that rock, then I can worry about developing the rest of the head of the tree afterwards. So, you know, it's one step at a time. You do see quite a few videos saying they're going to create instant bonsai, and those are fine, and I've made a few of those myself, but it's also quite nice to build up from the ground up sometimes. There's a nice fat bud there, so I'm going to go right back to that bud. And there's another juicy bud just on that one, just there. Come here. Shorten that one back still further. And in fact, I'm going to shorten this one back further as well. Okay, so you know, it may look a little bit like butchery, but I think the tree will benefit for it in the long run, and it's something, you know, I'm thinking 4 or 5 years ahead of this being a tree. At the moment it's just a work in progress, a bit of fun, if I'm honest. You know, I just enjoy trying out all these different things. And if you've got the extra trees, which I have, you know, these were all free trees essentially. These were self-seeded seedlings, and that just developed in a corner of my garden. So yeah, get some tree seed, grow some trees from seed, have a bit of fun. That would be my recommendation. Life's short, enjoy yourself. So there we go, those are 3 fusion using no wires root over rock projects, and that's it for another video. There'll be more to come, and in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching.